Morning. Here's a dilemma for you. How much do you spend on a car before you're really thinking about scrapping it due to the costs of getting it through an MOT? Right here where we're passing this pothole, the windscreen of the Focus got smashed on Tuesday. It's out of shot, it's in front of my eye line. And yeah, it's made me think about the cost of getting this car through the MOT. So I recorded this video yesterday and it didn't record properly, so this is a re-record. It was supposed to be one of the old classic Waffle Wednesdays where we discuss a single topic and I ask you your opinion, but as I say, it failed, so it's now Thursday morning and I'm doing this on the way to work. So, bit of background. The MOT on the Focus is due on the 1st of June. For those of you that don't know, I paid 800 quid for this car at the end of May last year with a full MOT on it. Obviously, I got no idea if the MOT was, let's say, true. You know, when you buy a car with a full MOT from a garage, you never know if it's a true one or a mate's one or whatever. So my first MOT on this car was always going to be a little bit worrying because you just never know. It said on the previous one, signs of corrosion underneath, blah blah blah, but I had a look under it when I first got the car and it was just really dry, crusty stuff, nothing I could see that was terrible, so never really bothered me. But obviously there was always a thought that there had to be a price limit that I'd put into the car to get it through an MOT. So up until Tuesday, the plan with this car was, I'm going on holiday in May. The guy who did the glow plugs on it was going to have it for the week I was away, assess it for the MOT and get it through the MOT if it was a favourable amount. And the amount I'd got in my head was 500 quid. That included obviously his fee for taking it and any labour costs and stuff like that. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. Sometimes with a car it's better the devil you know. Sticking 500 quid into a car that was only 800 quid smarted a little, but I thought it still made the sensible decision. This car is a really good car. Yeah, it's tatty, you know. There are scuffs on the front passenger side and scuffs on the rear driver's side. A few dents in the bonnet. Generally, it's never going to be a show car, but it does the job for driving to work and back. So obviously that's why I invested in it by having the glow plugs done and by putting tyres on. But ultimately, they were just things that had to be done. The glow plugs had to be done because it was just not starting properly, and the tyres had to be done because I'd got death trap tyres on it. You could argue I could have bought cheaper tyres, but at the time I was a little bit flush and I thought, no, I'm keeping the car. Good tyres is the way forward. But anyway, digressing, yeah, windscreen got hit by a stone, as I say. So straight away looked at my insurance excess for a windscreen replacement. You know, it's not a chip repair. It's going to fail the MOT. I'll stick a picture in, but it is actually creeping up the screen even now. So it's going to need replacing. Anyway, excess on the screen, 150 quid for replacement. So out of my 500 quid budget, 150 quid's gone. You've still got the price of the MOT, you've still got the price of the guy's labour to do the MOT, and we know the handbrake doesn't work as well, let alone any other issues that may rear their head. So I thought, bloody hell, 150 quid excess, let's get a price for a screen and just see if I could get it done cheaper. 266 quid for a screen from National Windscreens, probably because it's a heated one, obviously. So that's out of the question. So it's got to go through the insurance at a minimum of 150. So yeah, I spoke to the guy who did the glow plugs, the mechanic who's going to take it for MOT, and he said your best bet at the minute is to run it until we were going to do the MOT, but rather than fix the handbrake first, as we were going to do, his idea is to put it in for MOT with a broken screen, with a dodgy handbrake, and see what sort of a fix list we get. Sorry, back on now. The camera was it's doing some funny things. Maybe it's playing up a little, I don't know. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so that's the plan really, I think. Still put it in for an MOT and get a fix list, and then if it's a ridiculous amount, I guess it's bye-bye Focus. The issue I've got with that is I could then end up with a car with no MOT, and yeah, I'm stuck with it, because once we put it in for an MOT and it fails, you know, we're stuffed, aren't we? I've got to sell it as scrap then, or try and move it on, or have it on the front of the house, and I don't really want that hassle. So I'm at a bit of a dilemma now. Obviously, even now with only 2 months MOT left, it's not really sayable. You know, who's going to want to buy it with a broken windscreen? So I don't know now. It's just bugging me that a car that I was really quite enjoying could potentially end up getting scrapped or moved on for the sake of a windscreen. And obviously it's not just the sake of the windscreen. We are assuming that I could have got it through an MOT for me limit anyway. It could have failed on emissions, or it could fail on rust that I can't see, or whatever, you know, but I'm assuming that it's all good, and the windscreen's just really added to that, I guess. So yeah, what do you think? What would you do? I'm in two minds at the minute. I mean, I'm terrible for changing cars anyway, so I'm always looking for an excuse, but I had quite grown attached to this car, and I was sort of diverting myself from going, no, I think I'll just keep it, you know. And now this has made me think, oh, I could get another car. Yeah, it's a strange one. I suppose the thought is, when you are running in effect a banger, you're always one breakdown away from scrapping it, aren't you? You know, people have said to me, why don't you run a nicer car to work? Well, before the channel started, I was running around in nicer cars. I think even at the beginning of the channel starting, I still had that black Freelander that I went and fetched Agatha with a trailer, and indeed fetched the Maestro with. And you know, that was a £5 car that I was driving to work and back in. You've seen my route to work many times on these videos. I do 15-16 miles there and the same back, and then it's parked up for 9 hours while I'm at work. If we go anywhere at the weekend, it's usually in the Kia, or we're away in the van. So I got into thinking that having a banger for work was the way forward. But of course, it is the way forward until something goes wrong. Yeah, take the Rover for example. I bought the Rover for 800 quid, put about 300 quid into it, so it owed me 1100 quid. The head gasket went, I sold it for 300 quid, so I lost 800 quid. But I had 11 months motoring out of it. Is that viable? I don't know. You could also say that the same potentially could happen to this. I paid 800 quid for this. I've put 400 into this at the minute, so it owes me 1200, and I could be potentially scrapping this for 300 quid. The maths doesn't stack up when you've got an older car. If I was driving around in a £2,000 car, I suppose I wouldn't be wincing about 150 quid windscreen. I don't know. As you can tell, I've not really planned this waffle in my head, and it is just a waffle. As I say, let me know what you do. My thought is, do I up my budget a little and maybe go for a slightly newer car, 1,500 quid, but any car can break, can't it? You can get a bargain at 500 quid and a nail at 1,500 quid, so I think you're always taking a risk with any vehicle. Yeah, don't really know what to do. So that's pretty much the end of my waffle. As I say, let me know in the comments below what you would do, what you think I should do. Should I just swallow the cost of this and keep it going? I don't know. Let me know. Catch you later.